agenda this month?
Good evening. It is October 6th, Thursday. This is a City Council special meeting. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please rise if you wish. Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide us as we go over the agenda that is before us this evening. We ask that you lay your special healing hands on those in their time of need and watch over our employees that are helping. We ask that you watch over our citizens and our business community, and we are thankful when you keep them away from harm's way. We ask that you watch over our military, whether they are here or overseas, and that you lay special healings on those that are in need. And we give a special thank you to all of our wonderful employees. In thy name we do pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have our public hearing, item P1, resolution number 22-18.
Resolution number 22-18, a resolution of the City Council of Pinellas Park, Florida, establishing a millage rate of 5.6500 mils for ad valorem taxation of property within the city for fiscal year 2022-2023 to $26,916,312, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Resolution number 22-18, second public hearing and second reading. I'm opening the public hearing and turning it over to Dan Cassianis.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Well, as you all know, because of the hurricane, we had to have a special meeting by state law. So we did give notice. We put notices all over the doors, on the city's website, on social media, and also this meeting was advertised by the city clerk as well in the newspaper. So we should be in compliance. I think the city attorney said we were in compliance. So. But basically, we have a short presentation as far as the millage rate is concerned, so if you bear with me for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This chart illustrates the taxable values in the city. None of the non-taxable properties here. We're just talking about taxable values for industrial, commercial, and residential. And the next year's budget, or actually this year's budget, the January 2022 column is to the right. And then the last year's is January 2021. And it shows the beginning total and then the new construction and annexation valuations for purposes of tax. And as you can see, we had actually a slight decrease from the prior year. Well, more than a slight decrease. But a lot of this depends on when the developments are finished and when they actually hit the tax rolls. So the big thing was the increase in taxable values from year to year. That was 111.66%. But overall, basically, the taxable base of the city increased to 12.51%. Now, of the increase in taxable values, those are properties that basically changed hands in the city, or they were sold and turned over. Most properties, especially for residential owners, took advantage of the Save Our Homes cap, so the maximum their value increase was 3%. So basically, for every dollar of tax base, the city receives approximately 1/2 of 1 cent in property tax revenue. And property tax is an estimated 1/3 of the revenue required in the city's general fund. Here's a chart that illustrates what the rollback rate is. The rollback rate is required to be disclosed under state statute and is illustrated in the rightmost column at the top. So basically, to get the same amount of property tax revenue that we had for the prior year based upon the new taxable base or taxable values, we calculate what the rollback rate would have to be. So it's sort of like you might think of it as a starting point or zero starting point. what is being proposed, of course, is the millage rate of 5.65, which will generate roughly $26.9 million. This represents an increase of 12.44% over the rollback rate. We're required to disclose that. The proposed rate is a 2.9% increase over last year's millage rate. And we'll get to that in a moment when we have our preliminary trim notice on here. This is a chart I like to show. It indicates what the proposed millage rates are for the major cities in Pinellas County and also the county as well. And as you can see, Pinellas Park fares very well with respect to their millage rate. And also, we have one of the lowest permit, recreation, utility fee, and impact fees in Pinellas County as well. For every dollar of tax that's paid by a taxpayer, roughly 10% goes for water management, 25% roughly to the city, and the rest go to the schools, the county, Juvenile Welfare Board, and the Transit Authority. This is the sample trim notice I was referring to earlier. Based upon a net taxable value of $100,000, some of the properties in Pinellas Park are way below $100,000 in terms of net taxable values, and the taxable value figures don't often correspond with the fair market value of properties, let me tell you. But at any rate, the gray area indicates what is being proposed for all the different taxing entities. That's us, the school board, the county, and so forth. And then the white columns on the left indicate what the taxes would be based upon the rollback rate for all taxing authorities. Anyhow, after you get done with it and you go down to the bottom and you see total property tax, roughly a difference of $100 between what is being proposed and what it would be, assuming the rollback rate. For the city of Pinellas Park, we're proposing a millage rate of 5.65. Last year's rate was 5.49. That's roughly a percentage increase of roughly 2.9%. And basically, for this particular taxpayer, it would only amount to $1.33 per month of additional tax to be paid. Many of the issues and problems associated with property tax that people have are associated with losing the Save Our Homes exclusion or losing their homestead exemption. And basically, the cities cannot control that. That's all controlled through the Pinellas County Property Appraiser's Office. So if you have issues with that, please call Mr. Mike Twitty at 464-4293.
Is he here now?
No, he is not. But this is also disclosed on your trim notice as well. So, okay. Here's a simple chart I like to illustrate. It compares the total ad valorem tax revenue that we're estimating of $26.9 million and compares it with the net cost of providing police, fire, and EMS services. And the amount of property tax revenue is not sufficient to pay for those services. We have to pay for it from other revenues in the general fund. And that concludes our presentation regarding the millage rate. And if anybody has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Oh, yeah,
Thank
you
you,
have
Dan.
to go to the podium.
Just one moment. Does any council have any questions of Dan at this time? Seeing none. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to come up and speak on this item? At the podium?
Don't think I need a podium, but I think we need to record it.
Name and address for the record. Yes, sir.
Okay, Gary S. Jones, 7120 75th Street, Pinellas Park.
Thank you.
So, I don't really think this is the time or the year to raise our millage rates, especially with the economy tanking, thanks to our administration in the White House. What? You object? Yeah, I'm kidding. I can see that, well, you know, how you come to it and why you want to do it, but I don't think this is the time to do it. Next year, maybe, perhaps a couple of years. It's not a lot, it's not unreasonable, but I think the timing is poor. The other question that I have is just administrative. Can I get a copy of the things that you just showed us?
Sure, no problem at
Thanks.
all. Just jot down your name and phone number and
Give it to whom?
email address. Give me an email address, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you.
Better. All right. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Anybody else that has any questions? Seeing none? And Dan, I will ask, do you have the amount for the 5.49? Because the other chart that you show in the gray and the blue, or white and blue, shows what the rollback would be versus what the 5.49 is currently right now.
Well, I'll see if I can get that figure for you.
Okay,
Should be in the budget message.
yes. I meant for those that may be watching at home or on their computers or live, YouTube and all that fun stuff, Facebook. Because the reason why I'm asking is because it is a bigger difference showing the rollback price versus what they're actually paying right now in their taxes. Because you had shown it at approximately $100 difference, and I wasn't believing that it was probably about $70 difference based on the regular amount, not the rollback amount. And I think he found the figure.
Get my calculator out here. Okay, at roughly at 5.49, which is last year's millage rate, if we were to go with that rate, the total property tax for the city that we would receive on an estimated basis would be $26,146,312. So roughly about a $770,000 difference between 5.49 and 5.65.
And that would put us in the red instead of us being in the green.
Well, we'd have to use reserves.
We would have to
But-
go into the reserves that we keep for emergencies like hurricanes and things of that nature.
Yeah, emergencies and cash flow, and also our bonds. It helps us with our bond ratings. Helped us tremendously with the last bond issue we just issued. We were able to do it without getting any insurance on it, and got some good interest rates. But also, I might point out, with all due respect to you, the city is, it's a complicated business financially. I mean, we've got health insurance increases that we have to deal with. We have union contracts that we have to negotiate, and and then not only that, but everybody knows the stock market's tanked this last year. That's going to affect the amount of pension contributions that we're going to have to make to our pension trusts, and they're going to increase. So I mean, if you went with the 5.49, that's your choice, but I wouldn't recommend it. And I can tell you, sure as I'm sitting here next year, instead of asking for 5.65, we're going to be asking for a lot higher.
If we didn't change it now.
Correct. That is correct. I'm sorry?
For my dead body.
When you look at the city's history as to its millage rate, we have consistently been lower than all the major cities in Pinellas County. I've been here for 22 years, and for at least 22 years, we have been lower, much lower, than the other cities that I showed you on that chart. And before I came here, they were also lower. So we don't have a track record that, we have a very good track record here at the city.
I agree. I'm just concerned about the time.
I respect that, but, from my standpoint, timing, there's never a good time to raise tax. I mean, I don't want to pay tax. I live in the city. I don't want to pay tax. I'm cheap. Ask anybody here, they'll tell you. There's never a good time to pay tax, but for, an average taxpayer with a net taxable value of $100,000, and many of the properties in the city, they're far below a net taxable value of $100,000. In fact, we have properties that don't have hardly any taxable value at all. And but for what I illustrated, $1.33 per month. I mean, I wonder if you could buy a package of gum for that.
I don't think so.
There you go.
Thank you. Without any further questions, do I have a action, please? Councilmember Butler?
Yeah, I make a motion to pass resolution number 22-18, adopting a final millage rate for the city's proposed budget for fiscal years 2022-2023. Second public hearing.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. All righty. Do we have any news for the good of the order or any discussions? Councilmember Seville, Vice Mayor Seville.
We still have another thing.
Oh,
We still have the budget ordinance.
sorry. There was room on this page for it and they didn't put it on there. My apologies. Item P2, ordinance number 4169, the companion piece.
Item P2 is ordinance number 4169, City of Pinellas Park, Florida, appropriation and tax levy ordinance. An appropriation and tax levy ordinance of the City of Pinellas Park, Florida, covering the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2022, and ending September 30th, 2023. Being an ordinance appropriating funds required for the purpose of meeting the general operating expenses of the city for salaries, wages, fees necessary or proper, disbursements and other expenses necessary or proper for the operation of the city government, the water and sewage utility system, and for the purpose of meeting debt retirement requirements and capital improvements during said fiscal year, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Item P2, ordinance number 4169, public hearing and second reading. I'm opening the public hearing, turning it over to Dan for, just in case there's anything additional.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got a few slides I'd like to show you. This slide shows the proposed budget for next year, this year. I get confused now with this transition date we're going through. The proposed budget for next year, 22-23, and then the original budget for last year, and shows the totals by fund. And of course, you got the general, the water and sewer, capital improvement, and so forth. In total, for last year, the total spending was $150.8 million, and for next year, it's estimated to be $201.3 million, roughly a 33.5% increase in spending. Most of that increase in spending is associated with the capital improvement projects. You'll see it toward the middle of the slide, 20.4 versus 59.5. So, okay, and then, I'm not sure what's going on here. That didn't work. Okay, here's a pie chart that I like to show. It shows where all the funding sources are for the general fund. Where's all the money come from? Property tax is roughly a third. Franchise fee and utility taxes, 20%. Licenses and permits, 3%. Intergovernmental revenues, such as our share of the half-cent sales tax, and 15%, and then charges for services, 9%, and refuse billing, 11%. I'm not going to read off everything in the chart. Where does the money go? Roughly, police and fire EMS represent roughly 50% of the general fund expenditures. The rest goes to public works, leisure services, refuse, and recycling, and then debt service and general and administration. Capital Improvement Fund, where's the money come from for that? Basically, for next year, grants will represent 24% for some of our bigger projects. Bond money, we're going to be using bond money, and that's going to break down to roughly 42% of what's required. And then the rest will come from reserves and water and sewer share and so forth. CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency, 6%. Where's the money going to go? Well, roughly 42% of it is going to go for the new police and fire campus. That fire percentage is not quite accurate. We got to see how that is determined once the building is designed and it's constructed and all that. What portion of that cost is going to be associated with fire versus police? We don't know right now. Culture and recreation, 37%. And then water and sewer, 13%, and so forth. Okay. And speaking of capital projects, I made a quick list of the bigger projects that are in the budget for next year. Some of these are going to carry forward for not only, they're going to carry forward a couple budget years, but we just don't know how much at this point. So we wanted to show the best figures that we had at this point in time. So the city center, first year design and beginning construction costs, $1.1 million. The youth park sports complex design and construction, $20.2 million. The police and fire center campus that I was talking about earlier, $25 million. And the Belcher Sewer Interceptor Replacement Program, $6 million. That concludes our presentation, Mayor.
Thank you very much. We do have time for audience questions, so name and address for the record at the podium.
Mayor, if I could,
Yes.
if we were in other places of the country, we could probably save a lot of money by getting rid of our police department. But that'll never happen in Pinellas.
No, I object.
We all object to it.
course.
That'll never happen.
I don't even have a question about that. That's not my question. I just wanted to know what the Belcher Sewer Interceptor Replacement is.
It's a sewer line.
I'll let our city manager address that. He's the,
Literally, all of our sewage from the entire city heads to the west to Belcher Road. The interceptor is where we tie into the county. So all of our wastewater goes back to the county. It's an old system. We have a number of spills over the years. So we're working with the county to create a project to fix this system once and for all. It's a big project.
What kind of sewage are we talking about? Storm sewage
No.
or?
We're
No,
talking about
sewage.
oh,
It goes down your toilet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, literally, this stuff cost us money, so we actually, we have to.
Well,
fix it.
I get it. I understand that. I lived in St. Pete for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Their sewage
Yeah.
system started to fall
There you go.
apart
We're trying to be
in
ahead
my
of that.
backyard, so I understand.
You can even pick up some odors as you're driving along.
Sure.
Belcher Road.
Sure.
But those are all the county spills.
So I close my windows and run the air conditioning in September.
Thank you.
If you go to the EPA's website, you'll see where the Cross Bayou Resource Recycling, which is where this ends up, has spills every other week,
On 54th Avenue.
Way too often.
way too often,
Where does it spill? In Joe's Creek?
Joe's Creek.
On 54th Avenue.
And so they have to pay a fee and they have to do a cleanup and,
But the
Yeah.
snook in that canal are probably like that.
but,
And it won't eat them, so. One other question about the youth park sports complex design. What What is it going to be?
It's a mega sports complex. Literally, what you have out there now is a sports complex. We're transforming that. We got a huge grant. We got $13.5 million from the state.
Nice.
So with some of our funding, we're gonna turn this into literally a destination for youth sports.
Thanks, Gov.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, exactly right. And he had a big hand in this. He really did.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay. That's it.
thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Is there any other questions about this portion? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Councilmember Butler?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion we pass ordinance number 4169, second public hearing, second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I have to second the motion.
Sorry about that.
That's a second.
You got it? Good job.
Yep, we got it. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Now, Vice Mayor Seville, do you have anything for the good of the order?
Well, I don't know if it's for the good of the order, but it's good to be a Parker right now. And I know our, our whole county was blessed by not having that storm come this way. But it's amazing how our employees stepped up and they were prepared. I mean, you could go around our city and talk to all the residents. They're happy with our public works, our police, our fire, everyone. And I'm sure Bart's going to talk on a little bit how you put services down there to help those people in Northport. So they're not just helping here, they're helping down there too. But, it's just a good time to be in Pinellas Park, and, I'm just thankful for the employees that we have and how they stayed home and they're willing to come out, be ready for whatever needs we have. That's all I got.
My turn?
No, you're not allowed to talk.
No? Okay. Same thing, we've heard lots of great stuff about our staff, and thank you to their families for letting the staff have to work as long and as much as what they've had, because that's a big drain, and, and blessings to the people down there that they're okay. Also, we lost 2 officers. They just had the funeral for one, very sad, and then another one just passed. And so, thoughts and prayers to their family too.
We, not Pinellas Park.
What?
In the
In the
community,
community.
In
the
the
Tampa
community.
Bay area.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure people don't think Pinellas Park.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, yeah,
We
so.
get it.
Yeah, so just thoughts and prayers to their family, because it's just tragic, and being an officer and with the officers, it's a big family, so to that, they lost a lot. And, all the people that out there and that have lost, I've been working on it since Sunday, and it's tragic, what happened. So we are truly blessed. And happy birthday to my mom. Today is her birthday, so happy birthday. Tonight will be, if anybody's having a drink, her drink was Captain and Diet. I can say that, and that's what we're going to do. And that's it. That's all I got. Thanks
Happy
for all the
birthday.
support.
Captain and Diet. Good.
Why don't you
Captain
tell
and
us what
Diet.
you've been doing through your feed store?
No, it's good.
I think you should.
No, it's good.
You good?
We're good.
You got anything for us, Rick?
No, just reminiscing. It's so bad what happened down south. Growing up, when I was in my teenage years, we used to hang around a place called Cabbage Key and Sanibel and Captiva and Cayo Costa and all those places, fishing, Boca Grande, and there's nothing there. It's all the memory. Thank God we got memories, because it's gone. It's just, I hope to be alive when it's rebuilt. I think it would be beautiful down there, but it'll never be the same. You walk into Cabbage Key, and you see $10,000 worth of $1 bills stapled on the walls, and all the liquor I drank down there. God, I don't even know how I made it. But it was a great place, Hope to go back one day.
Staff? Ms. Lana, what do we got coming up?
Well, we have a couple of key things coming before the next council meeting, so I'll talk about that. We have Oktoberfest, and George is here in the audience. That's coming October 7th, October 8th, and continues on. So that's exciting. And we have a Rod Stewart, Tina Turner tribute at the PAC this Saturday. And then, of course, Sacred Heart Festival, that's kicking off on October 12th. So that's always a fun time here in Pinellas Park. So those are the three things happening in the immediate future.
Thank you.
No,
Staff?
Rod Stewart.
All shaking their heads no.
I got one more.
One more?
One more. So the ag farm got a cow today,
Aw.
and his name is Wade, and he's super cool.
A1.
Yeah. So they're, I think they're planning to start opening up towards. They have a thing out there, Halloween for the Florida Deaf Center on October 27th. They're going to do trick or treating and so forth. But yeah, so they're supposedly going to say when they're going to open, and people can go out there and.
I know they've been having volunteer classes for anybody that wants to volunteer out at the ag
They're
farm.
looking for volunteers. And so Wade's out there. He's super cool.
Is he coming to the barbecue?
I hope so.
No.
Well, now we have everything but the sheep are out there now. We have the pigs, we have the cow, we have the turtles, turkeys, chickens,
Donkey.
and we're waiting for and goats.
Goats.
And yeah, so it's super cool. I can't wait.
But we are looking for an emu.
And Rick wants an emu.
Bad.
He wants an emu, and we're going to put it in his backyard.
Yes.
But anyway, I just wanted to say welcome to Wade, and thank you from one of our local farms for donating him today. Lone Palm donated him to us, so that's super cool.
Mr. Seville, you got more?
Yes.
Okay.
The other night, what was that, Tuesday night? Lights out.
National Night Out.
National Night Out. I hope one of y'all gonna speak on that, because that was a very cool event. Yeah. Great participation from all the agencies around, and a lot of vendors in our community. It was really a nice event. That was awesome.
Great.
So what the Vice Mayor's talking about is on Tuesday we did our National Night Out, and so what it is, it's an opportunity for the police and the community to kind of come together about crime prevention, things like that. Not every agency does a National Night Out as a venue, so we provide it to other agencies as well. So we had the SO was there. St. Petersburg Police Department was there, Treasure Island, VA Police were there, our fire department was there, our community development folks were there,
Kansas City was there.
Public Works, Kansas City PD
Largo.
was absolutely there.
Bayflight?
Yep, we had a couple of helicopters, which is kind of new to us. Not the helicopters aren't, but Bayflight was. They were there. We also had our friends from Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms were there. Believe it or not, that night we had a need for their bomb dogs. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting night for all of us. But it was really well done. Our Public Works folks, Lana and Rayanne and all of those folks did a really good job of giving us the field. We had live entertainment, which was new. The venue was new for us. We've generally done it at Target or some other hard surface. So this is the first time we've done it at the band shell, and it was, my guess is we will see that back at the band shell for the remainder, because it was a really good space for us. We control it, and as I like to say, we here in Pinellas Park like that field, like that event, and like the food and the entertainment. So it was really good.
We had lots of citizens walking around, and we
did.
had participation from our business and our nonprofit communities out there as well.
We had some Crime Watch groups that were there as well, and yeah, it's just a really good opportunity for the police to police in the community and interact with one another. So
Chamber was involved.
yeah, really good.
And Lana's team stayed busy that night.
Love the bounce houses, by the way. That was a new wrinkle. Although they don't, it's hard for me to get in them, but we need to talk about that afterward.
Yeah. Well, that is one of the wonderful things that we had going on this week. We always have things going on. And they're free to the taxpayers in most cases. Not all of the cases, but most cases. One more shout out, German American Club.
Yes.
On 66th Street between 78th Avenue and 86th Avenue. It has been there for 70 years now, George?
Yeah.
Almost 70 years. So get your lederhosens out, Mr. Butler.
Yeah.
And everybody go out Friday, Saturday, starting tomorrow night, going through the end of October, November. So,
We got stormed out last week.
I know.
It's this weekend and next weekend, Friday and Saturday,
Friday and Saturday. Gates open at
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. All righty.
Parade starts at 6.
Yes.
And you got homemade potato salad.
Oh, yummy. Which George makes. He will not give up the recipe, so we, my sister and I keep asking George, and offering to help him make the potato salad so that we can figure out what the secret ingredients are. But it is delicious.
Today,
Yep. It's delicious.
What are the hours?
5 o'clock
5. Parade starts at 6
Till?
till 10.
till 10.
Beer runs out.
So, delicious food, wonderful entertainment. Are you going to be dancing this year, George?
Might do a few, that's all.
Might do a few.
I'll let you allow that.
George is part of a wonderful group that actually does some of the traditional dances at the German American Club. So,
Getting too old for that.
I got a phone call this week from a person who owns a rental house in the community. His name's Alan. He and his mom own the rental house. They live up in Palm Harbor, but they have a house here. They had nothing but wonderful things to say about the permit department when they pulled the permits to do the remodeling, for the Public Works Department, for the Planning Department when they were helping with that. Public Works, they had an incident where they had a clog. Public Works came out on the city end of it to help them figure out where the clog was and to get it drained. And he had nothing but wonderful comments. He commented on waste management. Even though they were delayed, they still eventually picked up the refuge. He doesn't know whether it was Public Works or Waste Management that picked up the debris from the storm, but he was very pleased. And it's always wonderful to get good phone calls from our citizens letting us know how, we already know that the staff is wonderful, but hearing it from other people. So, you've got something else. One more thing.
We have got the best cornhole playing horse
Yeah, he
in
did
the state
good.
of Florida.
He did really good.
Was it like 2 weeks ago out at Pine Brook?
We did, Chad and.
I mean, what an event the police department had out there, CRA had out there. And there's the horse playing cornhole with these kids, and they were just loving it. And then I saw it Tuesday night, he's out there playing cornhole again.
Yeah,
He's got a winning record.
he's got some skill
He
from the
does.
back of a horse.
I think he has a little bit of an advantage from that height.
That's a new one. I never heard that one before.
In January, I don't know if anybody noticed, we have, the poker queen
Book fair.
on TV.
Mm-hmm.
He will be performing at the German Club in January.
You'll have to get us a flyer that we can give to Lana to put on our things. That would be wonderful. Well, if we do not have anything else for the good of the order, we'll say that we hope that everybody has a blessed week until we see you next week. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.